Hey, what's up guys? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. What I do is every day of 2024, I have vowed to check out a new band or artist. Check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on the songs, rank the songs, and then of course give you my overall thoughts on the artist before bidding you adieu. You guys have been so kind, giving me tons of suggestions of bands or artists I should check out. Please keep them coming. Hit the comments below with any other band or artist suggestions you got. I'd love to hear them. I got 300 days still to do, so I definitely need them as well. As you can see right here, today's band is ho99o9. I'm being told that it's pronounced horror. Okay then, if you say so. Now, that stupid joke aside that I just made, I am familiar with horror. They are a trap metal duo, I guess you can say. Very chaotic, but also very entertaining. I've heard the odd song here and there. However, I got this as a suggestion, so I figured, you know what? They have a pretty decent-sized discography. I've probably only heard a handful of songs, so I can definitely make this work and expand my horizons a bit with horror, because, you know, I've generally just kind of heard the songs that have been popular in the scene, but I know they do a lot more than that. So, without any further ado, let's get into horror. Alright, so I started off with their first album, which is really an EP, Dead Bodies in the Lake, and I checked out the first song from that album, Twisted Metal. Now, I'll be honest, I basically checked this out because I was like, hey, Twisted Metal, I liked that game growing up. This is not about the game. This is basically the definition of trap metal. I didn't love some of the production choices, especially early on. The vocals are pretty buried in the first, close to a minute, maybe 45-50 seconds, something like that. But the vocals do get better after that point, and in fact I think they're probably pretty great from then onward. But yeah, some of the production choices on here didn't really do it for me, but when I look past the production choices, all the other makings are there for a great song. Next up, one of their most popular releases seems to be the Cybercop EP from 2018. And I hadn't heard the most streamed song from that EP, Mega City 9. Okay, so once again, reference check. Mega City 1 is where Judge Dredd lives, so that's why I checked out the song. I'm assuming the 9 is, the horror aspect of it, because it's 9 instead of ours. Wait, is this Mega City R then? I don't know. Anyways, the chorus on this was way too repetitive for me. It was the same line repeated 8 times in a row, and of course choruses repeat, so it got old fast, unfortunately. But the verses were solid. I really enjoyed both of them. Each member of horror gets their own verse, and honestly both were solid. I don't think I'd take one over the other, but if I had to pick, I guess the second verse would probably get it for me, but it's pretty close regardless. What was a little disappointing for me is this one tended to lean more rap. I didn't really hear any instrumentation, or much of any at the very least, so that was a little disappointing, especially after we got the cool melding of the trap and metal in the last song, but maybe the next song will be better. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and say that this one's definitely going to have some guitar on it. It's the song Bite My Face from the Skin album, and it features Corey Taylor. Okay, I definitely did not hear this because I would have recalled this. So let's get the Corey Taylor of it all out of the way. His feature is good. He basically does the chorus. It's kind of Slipknot light chorus, so I dug it. But the best part for me was they do this R&B breakdown. And by breakdown, I mean the music stops and we get smooth R&B tones for I don't know, 45 seconds, something like that. Really unexpected, really cool. Love being surprised in tracks. All right, and the reason why I'm doing horror basically is because someone specifically suggested the new single, which just came out, I think a week ago at this point, A Machine of. So I dived into that. Okay, so if you only check out one horror song to get their vibe, this is probably the one to do it. This honestly melds all their styles together in one song. It's a perfect showcase track for the band. There's trap, there's hip hop, there's metal, there's no R&B breakdown, but you still get some smooth vocals. And speaking of vocals, this is probably the best that they've sounded overall. I mean, that could have something to do with, 2024 production. Well, 2023 when they produced it, I guess, but you get the picture. And speaking of that production, I had no questions whatsoever about this track. It's still chaotic, don't get me wrong, but I really dug all the choices here, which I couldn't really say about the other three tracks. There was always something that I'm like, oh, I wonder why they chose to do that. All right, so those were the 4 tracks I checked out. Let's rank them right now. At number 1, A Machine of. This shouldn't be any surprise. Just said vocally, it's the best they've sounded. Production-wise, it's the best they've sounded. Musically, they meld everything they do together, and it sounds great. So, obviously, this is going to be a number 1 track. At number 2, I'm doing Bite My Face. The Corey Taylor feature was really cool. Horror is usually pretty feature heavy, so I'm surprised this is the only track that I grabbed that had a feature. Maybe that's just bad choices, but they seem to bring out the best in people of what I had heard. And of course that R&B breakdown. So fun. At 3, I'm going to do Twisted Metal. I really liked everything about this song once we got past the first 45-50 seconds when the vocals were pretty buried. And finally at number 4, Mega City 9. Too repetitive of the chorus. I did still like the verses, but that repetition kind of killed it for me. And again, this didn't have the instrumentation I was expecting. I still like to hear guitars in my music every so often, and this just didn't have that. Alright, so what are my overall thoughts on horror? Basically, still the same I had coming in. They're super chaotic, lyrics are super anarchist, and sometimes you just need to let loose with that. They don't take any sides politically. They just want to burn the whole system down. And honestly, sometimes that's a real fun listen, especially when they're throwing all these different sounds at you. So, horror still gets a big pass in my book, and you should definitely check this out, especially if you need to go run a marathon or something. This will get you pumped up. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad. I appreciate you watching to the very end of this video. Like I said, this video on horror was a suggestion, so keep those suggestions coming. Smash those comments down there. Give me bands or artists I need to check out. I appreciate it oh so very much. I hope you go back on the last 60 plus videos of these and check them out. And I hope you stay along for the ride. And honestly, the best way to do that is simply cut my wrists and hit subscribe. Until next time, I'm Emo Cat Dad, and I want to hear you sad.